Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm Tyler Kieft. I'm from Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM. We are a service of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission, serving the communities of West Bloomfield Township and the cities of Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake Village. We also run the TV and radio stations for the West Bloomfield School District. We are broadcasting live from today's event on Civic Center TV. That's Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99, and live streamed online on civiccentertv.com. Additionally, we are on 89.3 FM and online live streamed 24/7 on lakesfm.com. Of course, today we are here to celebrate the release of a brand new children's book called I Campaigned for Ice Cream, inspired by... It's inspired by a kid that grew up in West Bloomfield and worked very, very hard to change an ordinance in our community that allowed ice cream trucks to drive around city streets and bring ice cream to children all throughout our community. We have the author here with us tonight, Suzanne Jacobs-Lipshaw, who will take a few minutes now and speak to you about her experience with writing this book. Suzanne?
Okay, first I have to say I'm just overwhelmed by all the faces that I see here, and it's just so wonderful to be surrounded by my family and friends and colleagues and just people I've known for a long time and people that I've just known for a short time, and it's just wonderful to see everybody. So thank you for coming. Today marks the intersection of the aspiration of two children, 9-year-old Josh's quest to get ice cream trucks in West Bloomfield and my lifelong desire to write a children's book. Both dreams took persistence and perseverance, and today they connect with the release of I Campaigned for Ice Cream. As many of you know, in 2001, Josh wondered why ice cream trucks never came down the streets of our neighborhood. Seeing this as a learning opportunity, I suggested he call the township to find out. Josh discovered that ice cream trucks were banned in West Bloomfield due to a 1954 law banning peddlers from selling anything on city streets, including ice cream. Feeling this was unfair, Josh decided to petition the township board, asking them to change the antiquated law. Over the course of 5 months, Josh gathered friends to get petition signatures, rounded up community support for meetings, wrote letters and speeches, spoke at 3 township board meetings, and created an unexpected media blitz. I, way back in 1970, was that kid who, when my elementary teacher asked for a 2-page creative writing story, wrote 12. I was that kid who in middle school hung out with Sherry Rogers, who came in from Chicago, and read books and wrote stories on a Saturday night. I was that kid who was Sharon Stein, who also came in from Chicago, who co-edited our high school newspaper. And then I became that adult who started several manuscripts and put them in a drawer to hibernate for years. Until New Year's Eve 2017, when I decided that if I didn't make a concerted effort to carve out time to write, my dream of creating a children's book would never become reality. Fortunately, that was the first New Year's resolution I have ever kept. It is the union of Josh and I, each pursuing and reaching for our goals, that has brought us all together today. I am grateful to my publisher, Mindy Kuhn, who came in from North Carolina, who saw the value in the connection between Josh's story and my writing. A huge thank you to Steve Kaplan. And why don't you guys stand up? Chris Darcy, Tyler Keith, Bruce Eck, and Laura Hartman, who not only offered to host this party, but has spent many hours planning and promoting this event. Thank you to the 2001 trustees, who kept an open mind and listened conscientiously to a 9-year-old and his friends. Thank you to my amazing family and friends, old and new, from far and near, who are here today celebrating this incredible day with me. I am blessed to have my parents, Joan and Mort Jacobs, and my mother-in-law, Jackie Lipshaw, sharing this moment with me. And of course, to Josh and Jeremy, not only do they brighten the cover of my book, but they brighten all my days and fill them with the sweetest of moments. And finally, to my husband, Mark, for always being there for me and supporting my dreams. And so, of course, I was going to add a sentence, and I forgot to do that. And I just have to thank my critique partners who are here, because without them, my book never would have become published and the success it was. So thank you to my critique partners.
And for those of you listening on the radio, that again, it was Suzanne Jacobs-Lipshaw, author of I Campaign for Ice Cream, A Boy's Quest for Ice Cream Trucks. We are live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM, broadcasting from West Bloomfield Town Hall. There is an event here tonight, a book release party for I Campaign for Ice Cream. There's plenty of more people we need to talk to tonight and who need to speak to you tonight about this book and the experience of putting this together. And we'd like to now welcome up from Warren Publishing, the president of Warren Publishing, Mindy Kuhn, to say a few words about this very unique and very impressive children's book, I Campaign for Ice Cream. So Mindy, if you can make your way up to the podium.
Hi. I am super excited to be here. Suzanne, and I'm going to wing it. I don't have a written speech because I feel like communicating from my heart. So I have been so fortunate and lucky to have worked with Suzanne and to work on this super cute children's book. I was very excited to meet Josh tonight as well. The idea, I was like Suzanne and like Josh, I was that kid in high school. I petitioned my community to, I think it was for a teen center back in the day. So I identified with his mission. I loved the idea of the story, and we're super excited to have been part of the process. It was so much fun to have been here from day one and to start that journey with Suzanne and to be able to now see it in fruition and get to share that next step of celebrating tonight and to celebrate what could happen in the future with this book. So we're very excited to be here. We are also excited to present two books as well to Jill. Is Jill here from the library? Hi. Come on up, Jill. We would like to present two books to you for the West Bloomfield Library. So on our behalf, on Suzanne's behalf, please accept them for hopefully to share with everybody.
Thank you. We're very, very honored and happy to accept these. And they will be available for circulation in a few days at the West Bloomfield Library to make sure that all the children in the community have a chance to read this book and learn about activism. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Mindy, and thank you, Jill, for that. First, there are a lot of leaders that helped make this ordinance change to allow ice cream trucks in Greater West Bloomfield. And one of those leaders is now our Township Supervisor, Steve Kaplan. Steve is here and would like to say a few words to the community about this change of ordinance and I Campaign for Ice Cream. So we'll welcome up Steve Kaplan to the podium.
Well, those of us who were born in 1950, maybe through 1970, remember that sound that we all loved. And that is, on a weekend day or a weekday night, you heard the bell of the ice cream truck. And regardless of whether you're having a good day or a bad day, you wanted an ice cream sandwich, you wanted an eclair, and it's a great memory. So fast forward, we know about September 11, 2001, and then a month and a half later, we have Joshua Lipshaw asking the Township Board to change the ordinance. And at first, the board wasn't interested just because we were dealing just the fact of the security issues regarding September 11. So here's young Josh presenting a great presentation. And I remember I turned to one of the board members and I said, I hope he doesn't run against me next year. So Chris Darcy and Bruce Eck are here, and Chris is my executive assistant. Bruce is the best building director in the world, and the reason I mention them is that they helped plan this event. So thank you, Chris and Bruce. And in the audience, we have one of the township's best trustees ever since 1833, and that's Debbie Macon. Debbie? Where's Debbie? Debbie Macon. So back on November 5 and November 19, 2001, I sat here, and Debbie was 4 seats to my left, and the reason they separated us is they didn't want us talking to one another during the meetings. So a little historical fact or personal note, my wife Lisa's here, lovely Lisa, and lovely Lisa brought young Stacy, who was then 8, and young Aaron, age 11, to watch Joshua Lipshaw talk to the town board and to the public about the need for ice cream trucks in West Bloomfield. So Lisa, we still remember that. Is Clara Bora here? So Clara, as you know, she's the executive director of the library, one of the top libraries in the state, so I wanted to recognize her. And Debbie Binder, township clerk. Now, Debbie Binder would have voted yes had she been on the township board on November 5th of 2011. So I have a quote I want to read to you, and this is Joshua Lipshaw. Now, this is after the board, when it was apparent that the board would vote in favor of allowing ice cream trucks, and here's what he said. It had to do with some grumpy residents talking about the noise. What about the noise when the ice cream truck drives by? And here's what a 9-year-old said. How would an individual know if an ice cream truck is in the area if the music could not be heard? I mean, that's just brilliant. So although I'm one of the most frugal people you'll ever meet, I did buy a book, and we're going to place it in our glass cabinet in the hallway, and it will be seen for generations by people visiting the township. And lastly, now Josh doesn't want me to say this, but Josh was at a restaurant, and, Josh is very opinionated, and, Suzanne's just wonderful, and Mark, and just the family. But so somebody was having a disagreement with Josh, and Josh is very opinionated. And this guy says to Josh, who do you think you are, a rocket scientist? and as you know, he is, and he says, as a matter of fact, I am. Thank you for attending.
It took a long process to make this ordinance change to allow ice cream trucks in West Bloomfield. But as we're getting into the warmer months of the year, and it's starting to get really warm outside, I'm sure the kids are enjoying it now, and they enjoyed it then. It's had an impact and continued to have an impact on our community 18 years later. So now, let's not take any more time waiting, and let's talk to the man himself, Josh Lipshaw, who made this happen at 9 years old. 9 years old, Josh.
Wow. First of all, let's do another round of applause for my amazing mother. So thank you so much. So I can't believe it's been almost 18 years. Last time I was here, I was facing the other way, talking to some adults that I had never met before in a room that seemed a lot bigger than it does now. But as Steve pointed out, a lot of people thought I was going to be a politician after that. I went a slightly different direction, became an engineer out in Denver, Colorado now. But one thing has been constant that whole time, and that's the love and support of my mom. I don't think I would have ever been able to get this law changed or become where I am without it. And I'm just so happy that all of you guys are here. I want to thank you so much for supporting her in the same way she's always supported me.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Suzanne, for writing this book. We will be back in just a few minutes on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM.
Meetings in Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, and West Bloomfield. You can also watch all of your local programming online anytime at civiccentertv.com. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Welcome back. We're on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM. We're live at Town Hall until 7:30 for the book release party of I Campaign for Ice Cream, a kid's quest for ice cream trucks. And we are here with the author, person who wrote this story, Suzanne Jacobs-Lipshire. Suzanne, thank you for joining us here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And we appreciate you coming by. And how long was the process for writing this book? I know that it's 18 years in the making. Why now? What inspired so recently to finally tell this story?
Oh, I actually started the story as a fiction book probably about 15 years ago. And it stopped, kind of put it in a drawer for a long time. And I've always had a dream to be a children's book writer. And I decided that if I didn't make a concerted effort to carve out some writing time, it would never happen. So I pulled out that old book, which at that time was called The Road to Sweet Success. And at the same time, I took a nonfiction picture book writing class, and I realized that the book was really more geared toward that type of genre. And so I switched gears and rewrote it that way. And 2.5 years later, it is now a book. So it is a process.
I've read some other interviews you've had about the process of writing this book, and when you went out looking for publishers to pick this up, you had a little bit of trouble because it was one of your first books, and working with Warren Publishing, take us into that process, how working with a publisher that was so supportive helped bring this book to life in the right way, in the way that you were envisioning telling the story.
Oh, this is a real personal book for me because it's about my family. And had I had a large publishing company do this, I don't think I would have had the personal touches that I did have with Warren Publishing. And because I did it with Warren, I was able to have a lot of input, and there were certain parts that were really important to me. And the illustrator and the publisher kind of got together and added a sub-story. If you look through the pictures very carefully, you'll need to pay attention to what the grandfather is doing. And that added a grandfather and a grandmother, which were really my parents in the story. But there was never my mother-in-law featured, and that made me sad because she was part of it too. And so I went to the publisher and said, is it possible to add a red-haired lady in all the illustrations? And they did, and I just don't feel that I would have had that autonomy at all had I been with a larger publisher. And that's just one of the many examples of how we were able to work very well together as a team, and how my opinions and my feelings about the book were really kept to the forefront, which was lovely.
Something that really points to is the family element of putting this book together. Obviously, Josh did a lot of legwork to get the ordinance changed, and that inspired the story and with you writing it. But you said your parents were involved. How much of a family affair, just from start to finish? Obviously, back when Josh was working to change this ordinance, that was a lot of him and with your support that you had mentioned on the Splash with Brooke Allen this week on Civic Center TV, and you can find that, of course, on civiccentertv.com. How much of a family affair was the process of making this book?
It was a huge family affair, probably more than people realize. I mean, first of all, my husband was super supportive. I wanted to have more time to write, and we had a long discussion about me changing from full-time teaching to part-time teaching. So, I mean, that was huge. And as I wrote, I was constantly sending out drafts to both Josh and Jeremy for their opinions and perspectives. When the illustrations came in, everybody was looking them over and, catching things that needed to be changed, or, talking about the things we loved. And I really valued their opinion, and I wanted it to be a family effort because it is a family legacy.
And you touched on you being a special education teacher. And I'd read in another publication that you had, even before publishing the story, or before working on publishing the story, you had used Josh's experience working with the township to change that ordinance as inspiration in your teaching. How did you incorporate that in the writing of this book?
I just knew that the message of making a difference and knowing that even as a 9-year-old or a 6-year-old or a 72-year-old, you can make changes. And I work with struggling readers, and they need to know that even though they have a challenge, they have so many gifts and so many leadership qualities, and I work really hard to bring those out. And I use Josh's story to inspire them and to show them that what kids can really do. And we have actually gone as far as work together to raise money to adopt turtles that were endangered and teach other students about the threats to turtles. So I work with them in just projects that we do as a class to show them that they can make a difference in the world.
What is the message that you want children, just in general? You touched on the inspiration you want your students to take from this book, but just kids in general that read this book and families that read this book together at bedtime or in the middle of the day, whenever it may be. What message do you want them to take from Josh's story?
Same as for my students. I definitely want anyone reading the book, kids of all ages, to know they can make a difference, but also to realize that it takes persistence and perseverance. It isn't something that happens quickly. You really have to put in the effort and the time and work hard to make a change.
Well, thank you very much, Suzanne, for joining us. Again, we've been speaking with Suzanne Jacobs Lipshaw, the author of I Campaign for Ice Cream, and the mother of Josh Lipshaw, that kid who at 9 years old campaigned to the township board and got an ordinance changed that allowed ice cream trucks in West Bloomfield. We're going to have a lot more from here at Town Hall. We thank you, Suzanne, for joining us. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We're going to take a little bit longer of a break, and while we're at it, why don't we take a walk down memory lane? We have a video montage of some footage from the news as well as from the township board meetings back when Josh was working to enact this new ordinance. So we will take a short break. We'll be back with more interviews live from West Bloomfield Town Hall on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM. Welcome back to Town Hall. I'm Tyler Kieft. We are live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM, at the book release party for I Campaigned for Ice Cream, a kid's quest for ice cream trucks. This is a true story about how a 9-year-old child campaigned to the township board to change an ordinance and make ice cream trucks legal in West Bloomfield Township. And we're joined by that child. Not a kid anymore. It's 18 years later, but a kid at heart still. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us, Josh.
Thanks for having me.
So other than just a kid wanting ice cream, What inspired you to go to the township board to change this ordinance?
Kind of like I said in my speech earlier, it was my mom. If it was just me, if I had found out, I would have been like, well, that sucks, and left it at that. But my mom said, hey, they told us that we can change it, so let's do it. And so she helped me through the process. I wrote the letter, helped get my friends together to do the petitioning, and she, of course, helped me write the speech to make it sound a little more professional than a 9-year-old can write on his own. But it was definitely all her that helped push me to get it done.
Yeah, you talked through some of the examples of what you did along the way. How much work did go in just individually? I know Suzanne had mentioned on Splash earlier this week that a lot of the work, the legwork, she had you do, and she was just there as support. So for you, from your recollection, how much work did go into researching and to writing and to convincing the township board to change this ordinance?
It was a decent amount. I think the most work came from the petitioning. So there was obviously I had to write the letter and the speech, and that takes about the time it takes to write that sort of stuff. But the biggest one was we had to get a certain amount of signatures on a petition to even get it on the docket to begin with. And so I recruited a bunch of my friends from elementary school, and there's probably like 10 to 15 of us all gathered around. We made a form, and we each went out to our own neighborhoods and knocked on doors and got signatures. And I think the stat was no one did not sign. Anyone who answered the door signed our petition. I think we had 160 or so signatures by the end of it. So that probably took the most time, and then it was just waiting between the meetings on top of that every time. We had 3 total meetings, and it was just had something done. Me being a 9-year-old, I thought, oh, we're done. And they're like, nope, we got to have another meeting. And then the second meeting, they had the part of the law that said no bells. So I gave another speech that was about fixing that. Say, hey, as Steve said earlier, you can't hear the ice cream trucks. You would never know. So they actually amended the law to allow that. And then the third meeting is where they finally voted on it, saying yes. And I think it was a total of a 5-month process to do that.
Yeah, 5 months, and again, this is in 2001. You were 9 years old at the time, correct? So you're a really young kid, putting in a lot of tough work that most people at 9 years old aren't really even thinking about. And you had a lot of help from your mom to get started, and you just took over, and you did a really excellent amount of work, and there was a lot of work for you, and made a lot of great change. So in the immediate time after, or even in the months after, what was your reaction? What was your memory of how you felt after that process was over, knowing that you made some positive change and some big change in your hometown?
It was super exciting. One, getting free ice cream whenever the ice cream truck showed up was great. And then it was just felt great to accomplish such a big task. And everyone would talk to me for years now. Every time I come back, there's always someone who'll say, hey, I got ice cream from the ice cream truck the other day, thanks. And so things like that, it's such a great feeling to have so effectively, positively affected people's lives in the township.
Tell us a little bit about now, with your mom being an author and publishing this story. I know she's been, and we mentioned this earlier. Again, we're at West Bloomfield Town Hall for the book launch party for I Campaign for Ice Cream on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM. And your mom, Suzanne Jacobs Lipshaw, the author of this book, she mentioned earlier that she uses this book to inspire her students, and that one of the reasons that it's being published now is because of circumstances not entirely in her control, but just the process of getting a book launched. So for you, having had that support from your mom at the time to change this ordinance, what's your feeling like now, seeing her publish a book, knowing that that's something that she's been wanting to do and she's been working at for years? To see this finally happen, how does that make you feel?
It's incredible. I'm so proud of her. It's the support she's given me for years. I'm so glad that me, my family, and everyone here has been able to give that support back to her, to be able to see this book come to fruition, and just that dream of hers that she's had since about the age I was when I got this law changed. For her to finally accomplish that is just incredible.
Well, thank you very much, Josh, for joining us. Again, this is Josh Lipshaw. Not to be confused, I know before we came back, at least on the TV side, you saw Josh Lipshaw also That was him in 2001. That's 9 years old. He did a lot of work then. He was a smart kid, and now you're an aerospace engineer. So it all started from there. From there, lots of research he's used to putting in the hard work. And we thank you for joining us again, Josh Lipshaw, here with his mother, Suzanne Jacobs Lipshaw, signing books, copies of I Campaign for Ice Cream at their book release party at Town Hall. We are live, and we'll still be live here for a little while longer on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM, and online at lakesfm.com. We'll take a short break, and we'll come back with more live from West Bloomfield Town Hall.
Thank you, Tyler.
Seventy 70% of pedestrian deaths happen outside of a crosswalk. Make eye contact with drivers. Distractions are deadly. Use a crosswalk. Learn more at walkbikedrivesafe.org.
Before every meeting of the West Bloomfield Township Board, join Civic Center TV for a brand new show called West Bloomfield Township Board All Access, airing at 5:30 p.m. Our team will review how to access meeting agendas, go over the key issues on that night's agenda, and talk to township officials about projects happening right here in your hometown. It all happens live at 5:30 p.m. before every meeting of the West Bloomfield Township Board on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM. Welcome you back to West Bloomfield Town Hall on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM. Tyler Kieft here at the book release party for I Campaign for Ice Cream. Suzanne Jacobs Lipshaw, inspired by Josh Lipshaw, who in 2001, at 9 years old, campaigned to the Township Board to change an ordinance and allow ice cream trucks in West Bloomfield. We're joined by one of those Township Board members who's now the Township Supervisor, Steve
Hello,
Kevin.
Tyler. 19 years ago, I was on the Township Board in my second year, and this was one of the issues that appeared before the Township Board. And at first, it might not have seemed important, but it truly is. And it shows about democracy, how a youngster can express his opinions and maybe cause a group of adults to change their minds.
Now, I know you are a history buff, you're a history lover. Take us through a little bit of the history of this ordinance. There was a 1954 peddler law that was what was blocking the allowance of ice cream trucks in West Bloomfield. So take us through a little bit of the process, why that ordinance was in place and how it changed to what it is now, allowing ice cream trucks.
Good question, Tyler. 1954, West Bloomfield was rural. There was only one traffic signal at Orchard Lake Road and Walnut Lake Road. Many of the homes were far apart. They were farms, so people were concerned about safety, about a truck, a driver, a male driver perhaps wanting to engage in mischief or worse against a young person. So the peddler license was required. In fact, ice cream trucks were not allowed until November of 2001. Thanks to Joshua.
So Josh was 9 years old when he came to the Township Board with this idea to change this ordinance to allow ice cream trucks in the community. He's a kid, he just wants some ice cream. How surprised were you, or what was the board's surprise or pride, even that a kid at 9 years old was working hard to enact change in our community?
Well, as you know, during public comment, anybody can express his or her opinion. And here's a 9-year-old who barely could reach the top of the stand, and he was so cute and passionate and made some good points. Why do you not allow ice cream trucks? Other communities do. Why can't we have fun in our community? So when he was first talking, people are listening, the board members are listening, and maybe not having any mind to change the law, change the ordinance. But when he completed his talk, we realized he's right. We have a very fine police department, as you know. We have ways of monitoring the trucks to make sure the drivers do not have criminal records. We have ways of keeping the decibel level down. So he persuaded us.
What were some of the points that he had made that really touched the Township Board at the time, and how closely did he work with the Township Board as the ordinance was being changed and coming together to what it currently is?
He spoke 3 times, and it was really the first meeting at public comment where he persuaded us. As you know, at the following meeting, November the 5th, we introduced the ordinance, which would allow ice cream trucks. And then this November 19th, we actually adopted the ordinance. But he spoke at each meeting. It's not as though we had a committee to talk to him. But, I mean, just a wonderful young fella. And look where he is now.
Yeah, he's doing great things.
Educated, rocket science.
All that research at 9 years old really did help develop him into a remarkable young man. He's an aerospace engineer now, and we're very proud of him. Again, that's Josh Lipshaw. He is from West Bloomfield, and in 2001 worked with the Township Board to change an ordinance and allow ice cream trucks in West Bloomfield. And that's now inspired a children's book called I Campaign for Ice Cream. And I'm standing here with Steve Kaplan, the Township Supervisor in West Bloomfield. And we see now, in 2019, an increased prevalence of food trucks. We have, even on Tuesdays, we have food truck Tuesdays. So there's been a great impact, even of this change in ordinance that's inspired other changes in the community. How much of an impact does something like what Josh accomplished in 2001, how much of an impact has that had on our current state of commerce in the community?
Good question. In a way, he's a trailblazer, because without the ice cream trucks, we probably wouldn't have the food trucks. So it's an evolution where now we're offering food. But food trucks are very important for the community, or any community. They create cohesiveness. People want to congregate. They want to talk. They want to sit. We have picnic tables. I think it's just fabulous for our community and any other community that has food trucks.
Well, thank you very much. Steve Kaplan, Township
Thanks,
Supervisor. At the time, in 2001, when this ordinance was changed, he just said he was in the early stages of his career on the Township Board, and saw firsthand how 9-year-old Josh Lipshaw made positive change here in our community in West Bloomfield Township. We will be back in just a few minutes. I'll be here at West Bloomfield Town Hall with more from the I Campaign for Ice Cream book release party on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, Orchard Lake, West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, the all-new Lakes FM, and lakesfm.com. For every meeting of the West Bloomfield Township Board, join Civic Center TV for a brand new show called West Bloomfield Township Board All Access, airing at 5:30 p.m. Our team will review how to access meeting agendas, go over the key issues on that night's agenda, and talk to township officials about projects happening right here in your hometown. It all happens live at 5:30 p.m. before every meeting of the West Bloomfield Township Board on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM.
Civic Center TV is your home for everything Greater West Bloomfield. Here you can tune into community programming such as our weekly news magazine show, The Splash, as well as coverage of local events and meetings in Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, and West Bloomfield. You can also watch all of your local programming online anytime at civiccentertv.com. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Welcome you back to West Bloomfield Town Hall on Civic Center TV and on 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keefe, and we are at the book release party for I Campaign for Ice Cream by Suzanne Jacobs Lipshaw. We've been joined by Suzanne, we've been joined by Josh Lipshaw, the star of the show, the kid who at 9 years old changed an ordinance in West Bloomfield to allow ice cream trucks, and that's brought joy to kids in our community for 18 years since. And as we just spoke about with Township Supervisor Steve Kaplan before the break, it's inspired even more change in the community ever since. And now we're joined by Mindy Kuhn. Mindy Kuhn is the president of Warren Publishing. They published this book. And Warren and Wendy, what was the draw of I Campaign for Ice Cream from Warren Publishing and made the company want to work with Suzanne Jacobs Lipshaw to publish this book?
Sure. We love the idea of what the book stood for, the fact that a child was able to make a change in his community. And I have family from this community as well, which is, kind of took a little different place in my heart as well because of that. So that's exciting. But we just love the fact that he was able to actually make a difference, and at his age, being so young, that doesn't always, you don't always see that happen, and it's an opportunity to teach children at the same time.
So for your company, Warren Publishing, is it mostly focused on children's stories?
No, we actually have a wide genre of books. We have children's books, fiction, nonfiction. We kind of hit almost all genre of books. So we've been in business 30 years. I've owned the company for 3. And yeah, we're really lucky to have so many authors from all over the country.
And you took on Suzanne's project. She's relatively new to being a published author. Obviously, she's been a teacher for years, and she's been a writer for years. This is the first time that she's had a children's book published. So what drew you to Suzanne and her writing style and just her attitude about telling a story like this to inspire children? What drew you to Suzanne?
To her, she is a very kind woman, and she really knew her story was well written. She had obviously a good message. We love the idea of how it can teach children the process of how to make a change. So other than her personality, mainly how we review the manuscripts, it's based upon content and style, writing style. So she definitely kind of fit the process and the mold of how a children's book kind of should be written. Of course, we go through and we edit it and storyboard it and sort of get the book to polish it and kind of bring it to that next step. But she had a great foundation, and we're really excited to be part of it with her.
So obviously, again, we were at West Bloomfield Town Hall at the book release party for I Campaign for Ice Cream. I'm joined right now by Wendy Kuhn, the president of Warren Publishing. They published this book. Where can people find copies? Other than here at West Bloomfield Town Hall,
Sure.
We can pick up a copy tonight and get it signed. Where can people find I Campaign for Ice Cream?
Sure, you can find them on Amazon, so that's always a good one because anybody who has free shipping, that's always fun. You can also go to Warren, WARREN, publishing.net and order online there. You could go to barnesandnoble.com as well, order it online. So those are a few options right there.
All right, well, thank you very much,
Thank
Wendy,
you.
for joining us.
Thank you.
A great children's story that's going to be inspiring for years and years to come. It's already been an inspirational story here in West Bloomfield, and it's great that it's going to be able to spread to communities throughout Michigan and around the world.
Thank you.
joining
We're
us.
excited to have you cover it. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, that was Wendy Kuhn, president of Warren Publishing, joining us here at West Bloomfield Town Hall for the book release party of I Campaign for Ice Cream on Civic Center TV and on 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keith. We'll be back in just a few minutes with more from West Bloomfield Town Hall.
Civic Center TV is your home for everything Greater West Bloomfield. Here you can tune into community programming such as our weekly news magazine show, The Splash, as well as coverage of local events and meetings in Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, and West Bloomfield. You can also watch all of your local programming online anytime at civiccentertv.com. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
% of bicycle and pedestrian crashes occur at intersections. Look, wait, turn. Wait for people walking and biking before you turn. Learn more at walkbikedrivesafe.org.
Hi, I'm John Rhoda, Environmental Manager for West Bloomfield Township, and you're watching Civic Center TV.
We're live from West Bloomfield Town Hall, back on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM, from the book release party for I Campaign for Ice Cream, Kids Quest for Ice Cream Trucks. A true story about West Bloomfield's very own Josh Lipshaw, who at the age of 9 years old campaigned to the West Bloomfield Township Board to change an ordinance and allow ice cream trucks in our community. It's been in place for 18 years now. He's now 27 years old, lives in Colorado, he's an aerospace engineer. But in 2001, at 9 years old, he put in the work, he did the research, he came to the township board not once, but 3 times to campaign for ice cream trucks. And it worked. He made it happen. And it's a very inspirational story. It's a really well-written children's book. Plenty more going on, but that is going to do it for us tonight in our broadcast. I'm Tyler Keefe, thanking you for joining us at West Bloomfield Town Hall on Civic Center TV, Comcast Channel 15, and AT&T Channel 99, as well as live streamed on the web on civiccentertv.com, and additionally, as always, on the radio on 89.3 WPLD, Orchard Lake, West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, the all-new Lakes FM, and online at lakesfm.com. Good night.